Or you feel precarious? Do you ever felt like you're living in two worlds? The one everyone else sees, and another, hidden just beneath the surface? A world where whispers of truth speak louder than the noise around you? If you've felt this, it's not by chance. It's a divine sign meant for you. This isn't just a message. It's a revelation. In this video, we'll uncover a profound, dangerous truth about the power God has placed within you. It's a power so extraordinary that it must remain hidden, not because it's weak, but because its purpose is too sacred to reveal lightly. Here's the thing. This video isn't for everyone. It's for those who've always felt different, who've sensed that their struggles were preparing them for something greater. If that's you, keep watching. This isn't just information, it's a lifeline. For centuries, God's chosen ones have walked a path that others cannot understand. From Joseph in the Old Testament, whose dreams set him apart but also led to betrayal, to Jesus, whose discernment exposed truths the world wasn't ready to hear. Being chosen has always carried a unique weight. You, too, carry that weight. And whether you've known it for years or are just beginning to realize it, this video is here to guide you on how to embrace your divine calling. In this message, you'll learn not just why you've been set apart, but how to protect the dangerous gift God has given you. You'll discover how to use it wisely, navigate the loneliness that often comes with it, and unlock the purpose hidden in your journey. This isn't about quick inspiration. It's about giving you the tools to align with God's plan for your life and walk boldly in your calling. But before we dive into the depths of this divine power, let's begin with the one question that has likely haunted you for years. Why do you feel so set apart? Why does your life feel so uniquely challenging? Let's explore the answers together. The feeling of being set apart. Imagine this. You're on a long journey, walking a path no one else seems to notice. People pass by you, carefree, oblivious, but your steps feel heavier. You sense the cracks beneath the surface, the hidden struggles in others, the lies behind the smiles. You wonder, why do I see what no one else does? Why does life feel so different for me? This isn't random, it's a divine design. For many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. You, dear one, are among the chosen. And being chosen means you're set apart, not for isolation, but for a higher purpose. Think of Joseph in the Bible. God gave him dreams, visions of greatness that set him apart from his brothers. But those dreams didn't come without a cost. His own family turned against him, throwing him into a pit and selling him into slavery. Why? Because the calling on his life made him different. Just like Joseph, your difference isn't a curse. It's confirmation. Confirmation that God has placed something unique, something sacred within you. But here's the twist. Being chosen isn't easy. It's not just about carrying a gift. It's about carrying the weight of it. Have you ever felt like the very thing that makes you special also makes you misunderstood? Like you're walking through life with a secret no one else can comprehend. What if I told you that this isn't a burden, but a calling? That God has entrusted you with a gift so powerful it demands to be protected. Jesus said, "You are the light of the world." Matthew 5:14. He wasn't speaking to everyone. He was speaking to those who are willing to carry the responsibility of being different, of standing apart, of shining in places where darkness tries to prevail. Feeling out of sync with the world around you isn't a mistake. It's proof that you're aligned with something greater. God doesn't call you to blend in. He calls you to stand out, to be a beacon of truth in a world of shadows. And that can feel lonely, even heavy at times. But here's the question. Why you? Why has God placed this calling on your life? What is the purpose of this gift that sets you apart? The answer lies in the gift itself. A gift that not everyone has. A gift that sees, discerns, and understands what others cannot. It's a divine ability to walk in wisdom and truth, even when the world around you is consumed by chaos. This feeling of being different isn't without reason. It's tied to a sacred responsibility. God has given you a gift, not to flaunt, but to protect. A gift that must be used wisely with patience and courage. So let's explore this together. What is this gift, and why does it carry so much weight? What does God expect of you, and how can you embrace your calling with faith? Stay with me, because what comes next will change how you see yourself and your journey. Have you ever walked into a room and, before anyone spoke, you just knew something was off? Or maybe you've seen through someone's charming words, sensing intentions they tried so hard to hide? It feels almost supernatural, doesn't it? That's because it is. This isn't just a gut feeling. It's not mere intuition. It's a divine gift, a powerful ability called discernment. And if you have it, you've been entrusted with something extraordinary. But make no mistake, this power is not without its risks. Imagine this. You're at work, and a new colleague joins the team. They're charismatic, friendly, and instantly likable. Everyone praises them, saying things like, "What a great addition!" But deep down, something doesn't feel right. You can't explain it, but their energy feels off. Weeks pass, and then the truth comes out. This person has been sowing division, spreading rumors, and manipulating those around them. And in that moment you think, "I knew it." This is discernment in action. It's the ability to see beyond the surface, to perceive the unseen truths that others miss. But where does it come from? The Bible tells us in John 16:13, "The Spirit of truth will guide you into all the truth." Discernment is a divine tool, sharpened by the Holy Spirit, enabling you to see the realities hidden beneath the world's masks. It's not something you developed on your own. It's a sacred gift entrusted to you by God Himself. Even Jesus used discernment. In John 2:24-25, we read that He knew all people and did not need any testimony about mankind, for He knew what was in each person. When the Pharisees tried to trap Him with their words, He saw their true motives and responded with wisdom, never letting their deceit derail His mission. But here's the truth. Discernment is not just a blessing, it's a burden. This power is dangerous. Why? Because the truths you uncover are not always easy to carry. Think about this. What would happen if you revealed every truth you discerned to everyone at every moment? Chaos, confusion, envy. Some people simply aren't ready for the magnitude of the truths you carry. Revealing these insights recklessly can bring harm, not just to you, but to the divine purpose God has woven into your life. Just look at the story of Joseph in Genesis 37. When God gave him dreams of greatness, Joseph shared them openly with his brothers. Instead of celebrating, they were consumed by envy, which led them to betray him. The lesson? Timing and discretion are critical when stewarding this gift. So, what do you do with this extraordinary power? You protect it. You guard it fiercely, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. God has given you discernment not to flaunt, but to guide you and to help others when the time is right. Proverbs 4:23 reminds us, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Your discernment isn't meant to elevate you above others or to prove you're right. It's meant to align your actions with God's will, to shield you from harm, and to be used for His glory. But how do you protect this gift while still walking boldly in your calling? How do you balance seeing the truth with acting in love? And how do you use discernment to fulfill the purpose God has destined for you? Stay with me, because the answers may transform the way you see this divine power and why the power must be hidden. Let me take you back to the story of Joseph in Genesis 37:5-11. Joseph, favored by his father, was given dreams by God, visions of greatness, of ruling over his brothers. With the innocence of youth, he shared these dreams openly, expecting joy and support. But what happened? Instead of celebrating, his brothers were consumed by envy. Their jealousy turned to hatred, and Joseph's revelation became the spark that led to his betrayal. Thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, his journey of suffering began because he revealed a truth the world wasn't ready to hear. The lesson is clear. Even divine gifts require wisdom. Timing is everything. God may reveal profound truths to you, But not everyone is prepared to understand, let alone accept, what you've been shown. Now, let's bring this closer to home. Have you ever sensed that something was off with someone everyone else seemed to adore? Perhaps it was a colleague who seemed charming and friendly, but deep down you felt unease. At first you kept silent, doubting yourself. Maybe you thought, "Am I overthinking this?" But then the truth came out. They spread rumors, manipulated others, or betrayed someone close to you, and in that moment you realized, "I knew it." This is the power of discernment. It allows you to see beneath the surface, to detect the hidden motives others miss. But here's the challenge. Speaking up too soon or to the wrong person can bring misunderstanding or even harm. Why secrecy is essential. God doesn't give such a powerful gift for applause or recognition. This isn't about proving you're right or flaunting what you see. Discernment is a shield, not a spotlight. It's meant to guide you, protect you, and uplift others when the time is right. Consider Proverbs 29:11. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. Your gift isn't meant to be unleashed recklessly. It's a sacred tool requiring patience and trust in God's timing. Revealing what you know too early or to the wrong person can disrupt God's purpose, just as Joseph's story reminds us. But what happens when this gift feels more like a burden than a blessing? When the weight of what you see isolates you from those around you? Stay with me, because what comes next will not only explain the challenges you face but also reveal how to embrace this gift with courage and wisdom. Elijah's loneliness and God's divine assurance. Let me take you back to one of the most profound moments in the Bible, a moment when even a great prophet felt the crushing weight of being set apart. Elijah, a man chosen by God, had just called down fire from heaven in a miraculous showdown against the prophets of Baal. He should have felt victorious, but instead he found himself running for his life, alone, hunted and consumed by despair. In 1 Kings 19:10, Elijah cried out to God, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too." Can you feel his exhaustion, his loneliness? He believed he was the last faithful one standing, a burden too heavy to bear. But God didn't leave him in that dark place. Instead, he responded with assurance, "Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal, and whose mouths have not kissed him." 1 Kings 19, what a reminder. Even when Elijah felt utterly alone, God was working behind the scenes, preserving a remnant, preparing a greater plan. And just as he did for Elijah, he is doing for you. Like Elijah, you may feel misunderstood, dismissed, or even isolated because of what you see and sense. The gift of discernment can feel like a heavy weight, a constant awareness of truth in a world that prefers illusions. But here's what you need to know. This loneliness is not a punishment, it's a refinement. God is shaping you, preparing you for a purpose only you can fulfill. He has entrusted you with this gift because He sees your strength, your faith, and your willingness to walk the path others cannot. God doesn't give discernment lightly. He gives it to those He trusts. Think about that for a moment. The very fact that you carry this gift is proof that God sees you as capable, as chosen. As Jesus said in John 16:13, "But when He, the Spirit of truth, comes, He will guide you into all the truth." That's what your gift is. It's the Spirit guiding you, showing you what others cannot see. And yes, it's a heavy responsibility, but it's also a profound honor. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed by what you see, the lies, the hidden motives, the cracks in the facade, remember this: God gave you this sight because He trusts you to steward it wisely. They ask you something. What if the very thing you think isolates you is actually the proof that you're never truly alone? What if your discernment is a direct connection to God's guidance in your life? Think about that as we move forward. Now that we've acknowledged the weight of this gift, let's talk about how to carry it with wisdom and humility. How can you use this divine insight to align with God's purpose, protect your heart, and bless those around you? Let's explore that together, using the gift with wisdom and humility. Imagine standing in a crowd, watching everyone around you cheer for someone who seems charming, confident, and full of promise. Yet, deep inside, you feel something off, an unease you can't explain. Days, weeks, or even months later, the truth surfaces. That person's intentions weren't pure. They spread harm disguised as kindness, and you think to yourself, I knew it. This is discernment in action, the ability to sense what others can't. But here's the challenge. What do you do with this knowledge? Discernment isn't about calling out others, proving you were right, or exposing flaws. It's about wisdom. It's about asking, what does God want me to do with what I see? As Proverbs 4:23 reminds us, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. God gives you this gift not to create division, but to bring healing, protection, and clarity. That's why you need to use it carefully, humbly, and always with love. Here's how to steward this divine gift. Pray before you act. Father, what do you want me to see? What do you want me to do with this knowledge? Start every moment of discernment with prayer. When you rely on God's wisdom, you won't act out of impulse or pride. Guard your heart. Discernment can feel isolating, even overwhelming, but don't let it harden your heart. Protect yourself from bitterness or pride by staying rooted in grace. Remember, discernment isn't for judgment, it's for guidance. Use your gift to intercede. Sometimes God reveals things to you not to act immediately, but to pray for others. Perhaps there's a colleague whose energy feels wrong, or a friend hiding their struggles. Instead of confronting them, bring their situation to God. Pray for healing, protection, and wisdom in their life. Set boundaries with purpose. Discernment allows you to see when relationships or situations aren't aligned with God's plan. Don't feel guilty for stepping away. It's not rejection, it's protection. Speak only when called. Just because you see the truth doesn't mean you're meant to reveal it. Timing matters. Look at Joseph in Genesis. Sharing his dreams too early caused division. Wait on God's timing to share what you know. But here's the hard truth. Using this gift wisely comes with a cost. It sets you apart. It can make you feel misunderstood or even lonely. So, how do you navigate this path without losing your peace? Let's dive into the reality of loneliness and why it's not a curse, but a calling. Finding strength in loneliness, a journey to purpose. A moment in history. A night in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus, knowing the betrayal and suffering he was about to endure, prayed alone. Even his closest disciples, who had promised loyalty, couldn't stay awake to keep him company. In that solitude, as he cried out to the Father, an angel appeared to strengthen him. Luke 22:43. This was not just a moment of despair, it was preparation. It was in this loneliness that Jesus drew closer to the Father, aligning his will with God's divine plan. Now think about Elijah. Exhausted and discouraged, he fled to the wilderness, crying out to God, believing he was the last faithful servant left. But God whispered a truth Elijah couldn't yet see. I have reserved 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed to Baal. Elijah wasn't as alone as he thought, and neither are you. You see, the loneliness you feel isn't a punishment, it's refinement. God isn't leaving you alone, he's drawing you closer to him. In the quiet, he's strengthening your faith, sharpening your discernment, and preparing you for a purpose only you can fulfill. This is a sacred pattern. Joseph was isolated in prison before he became a leader in Egypt. Moses spent years in the desert before leading Israel out of slavery. Even Paul was blinded and alone before his eyes were opened to his mission. What you're going through now is part of this divine preparation. It may feel heavy, but it's shaping you for something extraordinary. You're not the only one walking this path. There are others, hidden, faithful, and carrying similar burdens. Have you ever felt like there's more to your loneliness than meets the eye? Share your story in the comments below. Let's encourage one another, because this journey is not meant to be walked in silence. What if your loneliness isn't rejection, but God's protection? Have you ever wondered why your struggles seem so different from everyone else's? Here's why. What if the people God has prepared for you are just waiting for the right moment to step into your life? How do you take this season of solitude and use it for something greater? How do you turn loneliness into strength and walk boldly in the purpose God has prepared for you? Let's explore that. Imagine standing in a crowd, surrounded by noise, laughter, and conversation, but feeling like an outsider. Not because you don't belong, but because you see what others don't. You notice the cracks beneath the surface, the unspoken truths hiding in plain sight. Maybe you've tried to ignore it, to fit in, to be like everyone else. But no matter how hard you try, that feeling remains. It's as if God Himself has placed a calling on your life, one too significant to ignore. This isn't just a story of you, it's the story of countless chosen ones throughout history. Think of Joseph in the Old Testament. He was given dreams, visions of greatness that set him apart. But his gift came at a cost. His own brothers betrayed him, selling him into slavery. Yet through every trial, God's hand was on him. His suffering wasn't the end. It was preparation for his destiny. And what about you? Could it be that the challenges you faced, the rejection, the loneliness, weren't meant to break you, but to refine you? To prepare you for the moment when God's purpose for your life becomes clear? You weren't chosen by accident. God has a purpose for your life and for the unique gift He's given you. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This isn't about fitting into the world's mold. It's about stepping boldly into the life God designed for you. Proverbs 9:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." Your discernment, your ability to see beyond the surface, is a divine gift that sets you apart. But with that gift comes responsibility. To use it wisely, to guard it carefully, and to trust God fully. But here's the question you must answer. Will you embrace this calling, or will you shrink back in fear? Will you trust the God who chose you, even when the path feels lonely and uncertain? Remember, your gift isn't a burden, it's a blessing, a shield, and a compass guiding you toward His purpose. Take a moment right now. Close your eyes, pray. Ask God to reveal His plan for your life, to strengthen your faith, and to help you walk boldly in your calling. If this message has spoken to your heart, I invite you to declare your commitment. Comment, "I am chosen" below as a statement of faith. Let this be your first step in embracing the life God has prepared for you. Share this message with someone who needs it. Together, we can build a community of chosen ones, walking boldly in their purpose. As we close, remember this: your discernment is not a burden, it's a divine blessing. You were chosen, set apart, and equipped for a purpose far greater than you can imagine. God walks with you every step of the way. May the Lord bless you, guide you, and give you the strength to carry your gift with wisdom and grace. You are not alone. You are chosen.